Welcome. This is just a very short impromptu video. I've made a community post. You can see 3 photographs in that. Here is the almost finished porch, now with the plastic sheeting just sort of wedged in place. It needs securing properly, perhaps on a less windy day than today. So sometime early this morning, it's been rain tested and has proved successful. It's certainly been wind tested and heat tested, so it's keeping the heat out of the room. It's surprising what a difference having this porch structure makes and how practical it is. And apart from sourcing one wooden post, which I explained how that came about in the previous video, on the way to Monchique, something drew my eye, and there's the perfect fallen tree with it's actually this wooden post you can see here. No, it isn't, I tell a lie, it's the one you can't see as you're looking at the image. It's the one on the right. You have to move round, and then it's this post here. So I've even got some bamboo left over which will get reused elsewhere, so that is beautiful in itself. So I thought, why is this an impromptu video? It's mainly to share news, and I'm not talking in the accepted sense of news. Many of you, I'm sure, subscribe not only to this channel but to Julia's channel, Simplicity Revealed. She's got a few technical problems, most likely hacked accounts and things. I don't know any of the details, but suffice to say that she has a new email address, simplicityrevealed@gmail.com. Apart from the first letter S, which is a capital S, the rest is in lowercase. I will put that in the description, so if any of you have been trying to contact Julia and wondered why you haven't had a response, that is the reason. She's had to set up new accounts. So you can find her on Facebook under the name Simplicity Revealed as well. It actually makes things simpler, you could say. It's how you look at the situations, the challenges that we're presented in life. Do you see it as, oh no, oh, I've got to redo this, or like in the case of the porch, it was a bit of an initial shock when you open the door and you found the whole thing has been blown over by the wind, and you've got to try and step over it, at least if you want to reuse the materials. But in just under a week, not exactly working at a fast pace, that was achieved. And thank you to Steve Adams this morning, who's come up with a new word, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. It's idiebot, which you could apply to anybody who really thinks you are the legal fiction, or insists that you have photo ID to prove who you are, but won't accept that you're a living being that you can prove because you have a pulse. Such is the crazy world, or the perception of this crazy world we live in. I listened to the latest Archaics video. Jason's talking about a book, I think, if I remember rightly, it was written in 1919, so just over 100 years ago. The author is Charles Ford, and he speculates that what is called the controllers are outside of this construct and keeping knowledge secret from what would be the rest of us on the outside of the construct. That actually makes a lot of sense. Bear in mind, 1919, this is way before any sort of talk of moon landings, and I'm not even going to go into that. But it's definitely a video worth watching, so again, I shall put a link in the description to that one. Is there anything else? Yes, a shout out for another channel as well. Very good methodology of research. It also gives, I feel, a fascinating insight into the world of the music industry, and the channel is called Supernatural Beatles, looking at the whole story of the Beatles, what they were put in place for, the whole thing about Paul McCartney, purely from a music standpoint, from a listener's standpoint. I'm sure you'll agree there is a marked change in the music of the Beatles in the latter half of the life of that pop group. But I would recommend having a look at the information given there. There's also a very good video on connections of the occult to, particularly around the Hastings area of Sussex, which is worth looking at. The origins of the Smith-Waite tarot cards, for example. That's an interesting little sort of topic that you may be interested in. Entirely up to you. So, don't want to make this too long, so we'll wrap that up. So just to recap, if you want to get in contact with Julia of Simplicity Revealed channel, there's a new email address. Maybe some of you are taking up this MACE method, modality healing. I know nothing really about it, so I can't comment on it, but this primarily the reason for this video is to share the news and help out another channel. We will have these technical issues and things every now and again, and of course a lot of these channels that some of the channels I've listened to are talking about, some YouTube channels are just purely AI generated, maybe, and also comments could be by bots, not by real people. It's interesting how when you take away the human voice, how you lose the intonation, and now you just have written words, which in text messages and things could be read and heard in very different ways. I'm sure you're familiar with all of this. So the new word, thanks to Steve, idiobot, which I think is a beautiful word. It's got a nice little sort of ring to it. And do check out Archaic's channel, what Jason reveals that this writer Charles Ford had come up with over 100 years ago. That's fascinating in itself. So as always, unconditional love to you all, and thank you for the comments and support, helping not just keep this channel going, but helping keep myself going in the material, practical sense, because I have no income whatsoever outside of the mentorship, and you'll find all that in the description under this video. Donations are always welcome, but I would rather give something back which I feel would be far greater than the monetary value of any donations that you wish to give, or if you wish to show your appreciation if you've taken up the mentorship sessions. So yeah, we'll leave that there, and I will say as always, unconditional love to you all.